guys, it is Ruth with bodybyruth.com, and today we are talking all about breast cancer awareness, breast cancer health. I am here with my friend Ginger Humphreys, and we're going to be talking about the essentials. There's 7 of them that we should be implementing in order to really be proactive in preventing cancer. So, first of all, Ginger, let's hear a little bit about what you do, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some steps that we can take to be proactive to making sure that we are going to be doing what we can to prevent cancer.
Okay, so I'm Ginger, and I work for Dr. Veronique Desognier, and we coach women all over the world on healing breast cancer naturally.
I love the naturally part because we are both in the whole holistic approach to wellness. So you get women after they've been diagnosed, and then you walk them through a treatment plan that will help them. You do a lot with mindset.
Correct.
So you're helping women walk off come off the edge. Come off of the ledge. Yes, come away from the ledge as they are really worried. And so we'll talk at the end how people get in contact with you and Dr. V if they need some coaching in that regard. Okay. But we are going to be just kind of be walking through some steps that we could do that are going to help us be proactive. And if you're watching, go ahead and tell us where you're watching from, and that'll help us just know where you're from. Hey, Heidi. Hello, Teresa. Hello, BJ. All right, so first things first, we're talking about October being breast cancer awareness. We should be practicing self-breast exams regularly, not annually, regularly. That's right. So Ginger is going to show us, first of all, while you're getting your friend out of the box, I think it's important anytime you want to develop a habit that you establish a trigger that will help remind you to do your self-breast exam. So if you haven't been diligent about doing self-breast exams, then a trigger that is going to remind you would be good. So can you give me an example of a trigger that you might use to remind yourself to do your self-breast exam?
Well, one thing is you can get a buddy, have a buddy, a girl system. Hey, check your girls, your sister, your friends.
So you're saying that trigger would be an accountability partner.
Exactly.
Okay. How about the shower?
Simple as brushing your teeth.
Yes.
While you're in the shower.
Right.
Just do your quick breast exams on both sides.
Right. So if you're needing a reminder, say, okay, every time in the shower, I'm just gonna do my little self-breast exam, or it could be when you wake up in the morning
while you're putting
in
on
bed.
Your makeup, and have a sticky note on your mirror to remind you.
Okay, so I don't know what is the proper way to do this exam. So Ginger's going to show us the technique.
Yeah. So, just like you and just like me, we're not trained. Our doctors don't train us on how to do a proper self-breast exam. So that's why Dr. V launched, it's called My Breast Friend, to teach us. There's a training video that you can watch, but this is a breast model, and there are different little
nodules
in here, and they were designed off of real actual breast
simulators. Yeah.
So there's some that are shallow, some that are deeper, and it teaches you how to properly test, because typically women just go and they palpate and feel in different areas.
So are you supposed to go in a clockwise motion, or what is the technique actually?
Show us. You definitely want to cover
this is you. Okay, so
all the areas, but actually, your breast tissue begins under your arm, so up high, not just right here in the regular area. But the different depths, they begin at different depths, and you want to feel with the flatness of your fingers, not your fingertips, but the flatness of your fingers, and you want to feel. And with the different depths of these And
you're going all the way around?
All the way around. And at different depths, even, down to your sternum. You don't want to just stay high because you might miss some. Typically, when women on their own without being properly trained, when they do find a lump, it's the size of a ping pong ball. I mean, so
they've waited too long.
You've waited too long. So the earlier that you can detect a lump, the quicker you can turn things around and you can heal and reverse that. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're doing our self-breast exam. We're reminding ourselves to do it in the shower when we wake up. You have a friend that's saying, hey, don't forget, do that. Now, let's talk about some ways that we can check to see if we have any potential cancer. So we just had lunch and we were talking about this beforehand. Traditional approach to checking to see what your breast health is like is to have a mammogram. But Ginger shared with me a staggering number about the amount of radiation that you get with mammograms, which is...
Yeah, it's like 80 x-rays in one sitting is one mammogram.
And ladies, how many of you guys have had to go back because they didn't get a good reading? Right. So not only are you getting like 80 doses of radiation in one picture, you're doing that again. Right. So she shared with me, and I'm all about this because I really am passionate about healthy alternatives to traditional medicine. Something that you might want to consider if you're looking at looking at breast health holistically. So you're recommending, instead of getting a mammogram, to do what?
Thermography.
Okay, and what is thermography? Thermography.
So it's heat detection. So any disease in your body, including cancer, begins as inflammation. So it detects early signs of inflammation, and it's not.
So it's a full body scan.
Yeah, you can do full body.
Your thermography is going to show any inflammation all through your body. But if you want to really isolate and hone in on the breast area, then they can do the heat there too. And I think that's fascinating because just that, the thermography can note any potential cancer.
That's exactly right.
So if you are concerned all over your body, thermography is a good way. And then what is another option that people can take if they don't want the intense radiation from mammogram?
Sure. Ultrasound. You can do ultrasound as well. It's not harmful to your body. There's also blood tests that you can do to detect whether there's cancer cells in your body.
Okay, and so those are three really good holistic approaches to looking to see if you have potential cancer in your breast or in your body, which first of all, the mammogram is not comfortable. It hurts. And another important thing that you were sharing is oftentimes during the mammogram, you're getting smushed. And so if you do have cancer, what are some of the things that could potentially happen through the mammograms?
Well, with that harsh compression, I mean, we've all been there, you know what it's like. That harsh compression, if you do have a tumor there, it can compress that tumor and cause metastasis. Your body's, if you do have a lump, your body's working real hard, and it provides this protective membrane around the tumor, right? But if you squish and compress, it's gonna rupture it. I mean, it's highly possible for it to do that, and I hear stories of that all the time. It's terrible.
So if you've had mammograms, that's okay. We're just sharing an alternative to get your girls checked in a way that is less invasive and less radiation in your body. All right, so those are great little tips on just checking for potential cancer tumors, cancer cells in the body. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the 7 essentials that we should be implementing if we want to take action in cancer prevention. So first one.
Let food be your medicine.
All right, so if you follow me, you know that is a tag of mine pretty much anytime I post food, is food is medicine. And I always say you either feed disease or you prevent it. Everything that goes in your body is either feeding it or preventing it.
Feeding the tumor or feeding the body.
So if you think of the best things to eat, raw foods, cruciferous vegetables, berries, omega-3s, flaxseed, basically think about the foods on the outside of the grocery store. We want to be eating fresh. We want to be eating, if you're eating meat, grass-fed meat, things that aren't going to be given a lot of hormones, and you have to be careful with the dairy for that very reason because of the hormones. So food is medicine. Pick foods that are going to be low anti-inflammatory foods, preventing inflammation, like ginger and turmeric. Omega-3s, that fatty fish is huge. What did we have for lunch today?
We had a delicious, what kind of fish was that?
It was tuna.
Okay, tuna. Yeah, salad. It was
so we had a big, she
good.
came over and I said, we are having an anti-cancer salad today. And it was chock full of anti-cancer ingredients.
And eating healthy doesn't have to taste nasty.
Right. It was good.
It's delicious.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so food, number one. Number two, another thing that I am passionate about.
Yeah. Reduce toxic exposure.
Okay, that too. Okay, reduce toxic. I was going to go activity. Activity. Yeah. Okay, we're
excited about the topic.
Okay, let's go to fitness first.
We'll
okay, so second thing is activity. For sure. Activity is going to help keep your body healthy. It's going to help sweat out toxins. And just keep your weight in check. All of those things are super important for overall health, but they're also good for the mood, right? If you are exercising, you are just helping your body get rid of stress. And we know, we've talked about this, stress is a huge marker when it comes to potential causes of cancer. So
any disease.
Yes.
Because it causes your body to release
any
cortisol.
way we can help reduce stress is awesome. So the food and the activity are two big ways. Okay. So third thing you were just saying.
Third thing is balance your energy. Oh, we skipped it. So
it's the
reduce toxic exposure.
Third thing, reduce toxic exposure. So give me some examples of what that is like.
Okay, so your skin is your biggest organ, right? But like lotions you put on your body, makeup you put on your face, sunscreen, cleaning.
And she's gonna see over by my sink. I've got things with toxic stuff in there. But you got. I mean, we're not saying you have to be perfect. We're saying do what you can. Practice implementing some of these things. We were saying too, I have been exposed to Roundup for years because we've been spraying the weeds on our property, and that is really bad. So look for things in your environment that you can change. We don't expect you to do all of these all at once, but even simple changes. Now, a big one I'm very passionate about, we talked about plastic. Yes. So if you are drinking water, put it in a glass container. Avoid buying...
And make sure it's filtered water.
Yeah, filtered water. Avoid buying water bottles if you can, because that plastic, especially how many of us have it in our car? You've got the heat on that case of water, and that plastic is going into the water. So drink out of a glass if you can, or a glass thermos. And then cooking. Super important that you use utensils that aren't plastic, and that you're not cooking on Teflon.
Non-stick.
Right. So cast iron skillets or copper bottoms, those are going to be just little things, little changes that you can make that are going to improve your
And one thing we didn't hit on,
environment,
which is huge, and people don't think of this, is the EMFs in our environment from
What is that?
EMF.
Oh, I'm bad at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's things that you can do to protect yourself. At night when you're going to sleep, turn off your Wi-Fi. I mean, now we're going to 5G, and people do not. There's not even studies on how that's going to affect our bodies. There's studies on how they're worried about how it's going to affect the oceans, right? And what are the oceans made up of? Water, right? What's your body made up of? 75% water. So if it's going to affect the oceans, what do you think it's going to do to our bodies?
Right. So that's a good thing for me to keep in mind, because my phone is with me all the time. And working out, I try not to. Every once in a while, I mean, I used to. I would stick it right in there just so it would stay in place, but it's so bad.
Women place
that is where they have a tumor.
In the shape of
so watch your phones, girls. Watch your phones. Okay, so we're working on limiting toxic exposure. And what about healing emotional wounds?
Heal your emotional wounds.
Okay, what does that mean, Ginger?
Oh, it's huge. And that should actually be essential number one, actually, because it's huge. It plays a huge role. You know,
give me an example of an emotional wound.
A trauma in your life. You've been in a bad marriage. A huge death in your family. Somebody very close to you.
You were abused, or in an abusive relationship.
You grew up in an alcoholic family,
or super controlling family that didn't allow you any freedom.
Yeah. So all of that. I mean, it's so important to be in tune with yourself. And
because we know all those emotional wounds cause us stress. Okay, so again, if you're working on healing those emotional wounds, and can you give me a few examples of how you help your clients work through that?
Sure. Well, the first thing is to acknowledge what they are. You know, dive deep.
Not sweep them under a rug.
Not sweep them under the rug. Just figure out what it is for you that has you upset, or
that keeps you up at night, or all those things that are causing stress. Yes.
Yoga, meditation. There's something that we do. It's called EFT tapping. So, and what you do is you tap on your meridians, and it calms you. So that's a great tool that you can do.
Show me examples. Like that.
So you start at the top of your head, and as you're doing it, you're saying, you're giving what it is that's bothering you, you're giving it a voice. And you're just talking. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You're just saying, even though I'm so mad at what happened today, I can totally and completely love myself. And then you begin the inside of the eye, the outside of the eye, and you're tapping on those acupuncture meridians. And as you're doing it, and you're talking, and you're saying, even though it's okay.
You have a video on that, right? Or Dr. V does.
Dr. V does.
We'll put a link to that so we can go more. You can see that if you're interested. If you are trying to heal yourself from emotional wounds that bring you stress, it's definitely something you can look into.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so important that you get back to you, and you do things that make you happy and bring you joy, and that's important. Putting yourself first on the list.
Yeah.
A lot of times the cancer characteristic as women we typically put ourselves last on the list. We are caregivers. We take care of everybody else. We do what everybody else wants us to do when they want us to do. We have all these chores. We have all these things that we've got to get done, and we put us last. But you can.
Give us a like if you can relate to that. If you feel like you are always the one, I'm always taking care of everybody else, and it's really hard to prioritize yourself and your self-care, and like those are big things that I work on my clients in improving. It's like working on investing and taking care of yourself, because you're not going to do any of those other things with caring for your family or your husband when you are not when you are not healthy.
When you're flying on an airplane, and they go through the whole, here's the exits,
right.
Here's this. If the oxygen mask drop, what do you do? What's their instructions?
You take care of yourself first.
Put it on yourself first, so you can in turn take care of others.
Right.
Same thing
in
life. Same thing.
Good.
And women think that's a selfish thing to do, but it's not. I mean, in order for you to be helpful for others, you've got to take care of you first, and that's not selfish.
All right, we've got 2 more things.
Okay.
Number 6 is
2 or 3.
We kind of talked about the balance, the energy, and the activity together. Okay, so this is extremely fascinating to me. We're talking about teeth.
Yeah.
Okay, so how the heck do your teeth have anything to do with your breast health?
Well, it has everything to do with all of your health.
All of your health,
all
okay.
Of your health. Because all your teeth are connected to your meridians that control every organ in your body, right?
That's fascinating. Yeah. Like, we are so intricately created. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. So if someone is having issues with their pancreas or their liver or their kidneys or their breast or their heart, all of those organs are connected to different molars, different teeth.
That's why your teeth
in our mouth.
So important.
Okay, so
important. Because
we're talking about breast health today, what teeth are connected to the breast meridian?
So 14 and 15.
Which are with the molars.
The molars.
Is it on one side or both sides?
It's on one side, but it depends on which side that you have
right.
cancer. So if you have cancer on your left side, then you definitely need to look at your teeth on the left
Okay,
side.
so when we say look at your teeth, I don't want to scare anybody because like when I was younger, I had a lot of fillings.
Right,
Like
right.
I had filling. I mean,
I
you
did
had
too.
something teeny weeny and they were digging out your teeth, right? So, and when I was younger and when you were younger, they put silver fillings in. Okay, so we had amalgam.
Right.
Yeah. So, since then, some of my silver fillings have come out and they replaced them with the white. But what's the danger of the silver fillings?
So no matter how old they are, it's constantly seeping fumes of mercury, right?
Okay.
Mercury is toxic to your body, right? And I mean, it's a poison, it's a metal.
Yeah.
It's toxic. So you need, if you have any of those, you do need to have them removed by a biological dentist. Don't leave them in your mouth.
A biological dentist is going to approach dentistry holistically.
Right.
So they will put the amount, or they will put the white, I don't know what they're called, the white
Composite.
Yeah. They're going to put the white fillings in. They're not going to be like, let's do a root canal, because now here's the other thing. So those fillings are one thing that you can do
Right.
to help, but this is another big one. And again, if you have root canals,
Consider having them removed.
consider having them removed. So if it's a tooth,
There's no help.
if there's a tooth in the back that's not visible, pluck it out.
You can get
Pull
you
it
can get a
out.
bridge, you can get a flipper, you know.
And I will say, I met Ginger online one time. You had my back, girl. I posted something about teeth.
Yeah.
And how
Oh, yeah.
and how the root canal is causing
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
toxins in your body, which cause cancer. Because in essence, the root canal, even though the dentists are saying they've got the bacteria, they've got all that rotten tooth out, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be leftover bacteria stuck in your mouth.
It's like a dead entity, and it is a constant drip of, you know, sepsis that's dripping down into your meridian.
Which then is going to go into all the different
all
parts
your
of your
organs.
body. So you have to kind of decide, okay, if it's not a visible tooth, I might decide I want to pull those out. And if it is a visible tooth, then get a false tooth or prosthetic or, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it
But definitely
isn't.
go into a biological dentist,
Yeah.
and they can advise you. You know, they could do a 3D X-ray and tell you if you have any dental issues that need to be addressed. And then they'll also put it in prioritize. You don't have to do it all at once. You know, nobody likes going to the dentist. I don't like going to.
Do you love going to the dentist?
No.
I would say no. Okay. Yeah, I don't love going to the dentist either. I'm fortunate I've not had to have anything major done. Just, you know, your
Your teeth are
cleaning.
beautiful.
Oh, thank you. But your oral health, you guys, your
Huge.
oral health is huge in your overall health. And you've seen me before, possibly I've done videos on oil pulling. I could put a link to that as well. Oil pulling is one of the things that you can do to be proactive, to make sure you're keeping your mouth clean, the bacteria clean, and it does give you white teeth. So if you want a natural way to just brighten your smile, but really improve the oral health, you're not getting the bacteria, because you don't want to
Colloidal
swallow
silver's
all
another
that.
thing.
Yes,
You
colloidal
can-
silver is
you
awesome.
can swish with Argentine
Yes.
23, which is the best.
I love it. Okay, so number 7.
Is early detection.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the key, because the sooner that you locate anything, or even, you know, a lot of times women don't want to acknowledge, or they'll just, you know, be like, okay, I don't know, something doesn't feel right, but they just, you know, are in denial and push it back. But the sooner that you notice anything, the quicker you can turn things around. You know, I mean, our bodies are amazing and have an amazing ability to heal. You just have to give it the proper tools and nutrition to do so. And it doesn't have to be scary. You know, that's the key, is everybody's kind of frozen, like, I don't know what to do. But it's, you know, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, one toxin at a time, you know.
Right. It's not like, okay, I have to do all of these today.
Right.
Anything that you do to implement some of these strategies is going to get you one step closer to overall health, to better health. So let's say someone does have a diagnosis and they're scared and they're oh my gosh, I've done all these like invasive things. what are some of the things, like what if someone needed to go through a holistic approach, or if they wanted to go through a holistic approach, how do they get in touch with you? Where can they find you?
Okay.
And Dr. V?
Okay, so you can email me directly at support@breastcancerconqueror.com, and I'm Dr. V's assistant. My job is to, or my passion, let me say that, it's not a job, is to guide you, to educate you on options, because a lot of people don't even know that you have other options. You go to the doctor and you think, you trust that the doctor's going to guide you and tell you everything possible that's out there, and it's going to,
And they have a protocol. They're doing all these things because it is a business.
Yes.
Right? So they want to make their money at the end of the day. So they have you doing all of the mammogram and then the biopsy and then all these things because that's their protocol. And a lot of people, our goal today is just to inform you, let you know, here's some other options. So they can email you.
People usually don't realize that, and it's huge, it's important, So you go to an oncologist, and you listen to what they say, and then you get upset because they get on to you or they scare you, and they will do that, to try to freak you out, to do what they want you to do in their certain protocol. But the bottom line is, regardless of who it is that you're working with, regardless, it's your body, it's your healing journey, and they are working for you. You don't have to do anything that they suggest. You don't have to rush into anything. Cancer does not happen overnight. It's not something that you have to fear and think, and the sad thing is, a lot of times doctors will say, well, if you don't do this, and if you don't do this tomorrow, then you're going to die. You're going to die. What do and that's not the truth. That's not the case. I mean, you have time. All that we ask is that you do your homework, educate yourself, see what your options are. Just take, regardless of who you're around or who you're with, always take a step back, breathe. Number one, breathe and know that it's your body, it's your healing journey. Whatever it is that you choose and whichever route that you choose to go, that's okay. If you've done things that you regret and wish that you haven't, forgive yourself.
Yeah, the regret isn't gonna do anything for you. Yeah,
you move forward. When you know better, you do better. And
that's great. All right, so I know that there's some questions coming in. We can look at those, and then later, if you see questions, you can answer.
Sure.
We will
add the link.
We'll add the link. We'll let you know how to get in touch with Dr. V if you have a desire to learn more about being proactive with a natural breast cancer treatment. And
this is Dr. V's book. Everything's in here. You can read it. It's Heal Breast Cancer Naturally. She even has an Audible version, which is great, which is in her voice, and it's wonderful. This is a great place to start. And if you decide that you have questions,
I just want to end by saying, just because you treated the cancer doesn't mean you stopped the cause. So if you did have cancer and you had chemotherapy and radiation, you got rid of the cancer, but you're not preventing it from happening again. So these 7 essentials are going to be super important to just prevent cancer from coming back. If you had cancer, your body was toxic, and our goal is always to keep that. I'm going to do whatever I can with food, with my activity, with balancing balancing your energy,
the thing is,
all of it.
The main thing is it's not a one and done. It's like going to the gym. It's like eating healthy. Sometimes you're so strict and you're 100% on, and then you kind of get slack a little bit. It's human nature. You kind of ease up because you're tired. I'm tired of doing all. Well, you got to get back on the horse, and it's the same thing. You always have to be proactive with your health. You always have to keep a pulse on your health regardless.
Right.
Because our environments change, circumstances change, different stressors happen in life. Life happens.
Right.
So, the key is to have the tools. And then if you have the tools, then you don't have to fear cancer. You don't have to fear any disease. Our bodies are amazing. And
I will reinforce again, your food is medicine. My clients are doing a detox this week, and it's not because they're bad eaters. We detox because of all these environmental issues that we face. whether it's I'm cleaning my floor and I've got some Clorox or whatever. I mean, all of that is in our environment. If we're on a golf course and we're around pesticides, those are things that are in our body that we are helping to just keep our organs working optimally. So I can also post a link if you're interested in the detox or a 4-week clean eating plan, because again, we want to make sure you are putting good food in your body that is going to help heal you. We're so glad that you joined us today. Ginger, thank you. She was so nervous about going live, and we weren't going to go live. I'm like, hey, let's go live. The only thing I was worried about,
wouldn't take no for an answer, so.
The only thing I was worried about was if it goes sideways, and it did. But oh well, you're just gonna have to watch us.
Hashtag check your girl.
Check your girl. So this is your reminder. Here's to loving the body, living, and being proactive. Thanks, Ginger.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome.